ביאור משנה ד'. משנה זו באה ללמד, this Mishnah comes to teach, שמזון עירובי חצרות צריכים להניחו בבית אחד מבתי החצר. The food you need to live in a house in one of the dwelling places of the people who lives in that courtyard. הואיל והוא בא להתיר בתים זה עם זה, because the purpose of it is to permit one house with all the other houses. ואם הניחהו במקום שאינו נקרא בית, אינו עירוב. So these guys placed it in the middle of the courtyard. They didn't place it in one of the houses. So he says it doesn't work. It needs to be in particular one of the houses. So now there's going to be discussion what considered to be one of the houses. הנותנת עירובו. Someone who puts the עירוב, עירוב חצרות, בבית שער, in a house of the guard. בית שער is the post, where the soldiers, the gatehouse. Thank you. You also have it here, by the way. It's a good example. Over here you've got these closed communities, whatever you call them.
Oh, you have this guard.
You have the guard in the beginning. So you put the Eruv there. Okay. The question is it considered to be a dwelling place, that house, or not? For many things it is a dwelling place, maybe you can say. Maybe if he sleeps there. But is it considered to be a dwelling? Is there 24 hours? But is it the place for living? That's the, like, is that going to be a good thing? Let's see.
Even though it's 24 hours there.
Yeah, is it, or maybe, the purpose of it is not to be slept in. Yeah. בבית השער, בבניין הסמוך לשער החצר, שהשומר יושב בו. This is a house that is close to the gate of the courtyard, that the guard sits in it. He said sits and not sleeps, by the way. Interesting. Or achsadra. Achsadra is like a balcony, the way you have in your house. You know, like you have like a balcony right out of the house. Like a big thing. Yeah, that's right. Underneath. It's not indoors, it's outdoor space. Yeah, outdoor space. achsadra. בניין עמודים המקורה בתקרה. It is a building that has a ceiling. שלפני הכניסה לבית, that before the entrance of the house. So you rent it out. You know, people today are rich, they like to live by themselves. In the old time, you rent this place out, you rent this place out, you rent this place out. And one of the guys lives over there. Yeah? Or he doesn't live over there. We're going to see soon. ומרפסת, or a balcony. Which kind of balcony? שאינה עשויה לדירה. All these places are not, there's not a dwelling place over there. That is not made for an apartment. In all these cases, אינו עירוב. It is not considered to be a good עירוב. שהמקומות הללו אינם מיוחדים לדירה. Because these places are not designed, not specified. It's the wrong zoning. Let's call it. They're in the wrong zoning thing. They're not zoned for dwelling. They're zoned for something else, for commercial. They're zoned for another purpose, not for dwelling purposes. I think you have the same thing in zoning over here, right? Things that are, the balconies, they have different rules than dwelling inside the house. It's different zoning. So it doesn't count. If you put it in different zoning, it doesn't count. ועירוב חצרות צריך שיתנו בדירה. And עירוב חצרות, you need to put it in a dwelling that is specified as a zone that is dwelling zone. Okay? והדר שם. And the person who lives there, בבית שער או באכסדרה או במרפסת, and the person who lives in the gatehouse or in the balcony or in the achsadra, אינו אוסר עליו, does not prohibit on the owner. In other words, you rent it out, but it's not yours. It's not your zone. Even if he sublets it to you, it never becomes...
To sleep.
Yeah, to sleep. In other words, the owner has if I come to your house and I rent a room, I have rights over the room. You may not enter my room. I rented it. If you rent out all these places, you didn't give your rights to go whenever you want into one of those places. That's why it's not considered to be the person who lives there. Let's see. I think that's the reason. Let's read inside. אינו אוסר עליו על בעל החצר. It does not prohibit on the owner of the courtyard. ואינו צריך לערב עמו. In other words, the owner of the house doesn't even make Eruv with him. לפי שכל אלו נחשבים דירה. Because all these are considered to be a dwelling place. אינם נחשבים דירה. They're not considered to be a dwelling place. אבל הוא נותן את העירוב בבית התבן. Here comes the difference. These things are not specified to be dwelling, not zoned for dwelling places. Now we're going to go to some things, to some places that they are more of a dwelling place, they're more, they start catching to become dwelling place. For example, Beit HaTeven, the house that you keep the hay. So this is already a closed structure. And there's a poor guy, he says, rent me this place. You know, I need a place to sleep in. בבניין המשמש מחסן לתבן. This is a building that you use to keep the hay, or בית הבקר, or the house for the cattle, ברפת, ובבית העצים, the house to store wood, בבניין שמחסן לעצים, ובבית האוצרות, or a house that you keep your produce in, like your fruits, your vegetables, your wheat, של תבואה וכדומה. In all these places, they are zoned for, you can see the zoning changes a little bit. We say they are zoned for dwelling. הרי זה עירוב. In such cases, it's considered to be an עירוב. שכל אחד מהבתים הללו דינו כדירה. These are we going to consider it like a dwelling place. Now, let's look at the difference. It looks like the difference that it has to be closed on four sides. All the examples we gave before are not closed on four sides, and all these examples are closed on four sides. Very good. Beit HaShomer is different. That's right. Yeah, very good. Very good. I don't know. That's a good point.
I think that they were used to sleep in places like that. And they never sleep in the guardhouse, probably is very
Yeah, but,
small.
yeah.
אבל באסם, וזה, הם היו אחד שגר שם אפילו.
Yeah, I think that maybe you're right. At the time, today we're not used to it, but at the time, people used to sublet it. Yeah, in today's date, nobody sublet, nobody thinks about subletting. But in the old times, this was for a poor person, exactly like renting a garage. Okay, rent the garage. Very good.
$300 a month.
Yeah. It looked like sometimes people would rent it out. Yeah. והדר שם בבית התבן או בבית הבקר, but the person who lives in the house of the wheat, or in the place for the cows, or בבית העצים, or בבית האוצר, or all the other places that we mentioned, or עליו. It's considered to be a person that lived there, and therefore you need to make Eruv with him. He's part of it. Okay.
In other words, you could put it
in his place.
and you'll have
And if you didn't make an Eruv with him, it's even worse. You cannot, nobody can carry. That's the problem. If he's in your balcony, don't worry about it. He doesn't need to make Eruv. He's living in your property. He's like almost a guest. Over here, he's actually dwelling there. אוסר עליו על בעל החצר וצריך לערב עמו. And he needs to make an Eruv עמו. Rabbi Yehuda אומר, Rabbi Yehuda says, אם יש שם תפיסת יד של בעל הבית, Rabbi Yehuda says, don't jump so quick. Even if he's in all these places, and you still own the place. What does it mean own the place? You have the right to go into it whenever you want. It's almost like a... Yeah, anytime you want. You don't have to ask permission. מי ששכר בית מבעל החצר, somebody who rented a house from the owner of the courtyard, ובעל החצר השאיר לעצמו זכות להשתמש בבית זה. He said, I have the right to come in and go out whenever I want. כגון שמניח שם כלה, for example, half of the house I put my instruments over there, I need to come in whenever I need my instruments. אינו אוסר עליו. Then it is still your house. It never became somebody else's. I think the idea of somebody else's kicks in when you don't have the right to go there. Yeah, when you don't have the right.
possession in there, nothing.
Yeah.
It's all his.
It's all his, that's right. אינו אוסר עליו. It does not prohibit him. אין הדייר אוסר על בעל הבית. Then the tenant, in other words, cannot claim any ownership on the owner of the house, and therefore you don't need to make Eruv with him, because he's not a tenant. ואינו צריך לערב עמו. You don't need to make an Eruv with him. שהרי הוא כאילו דר עמו. It's like somebody who comes and visit. או שהדייר אינו אלא קורח אצלו. it's either somebody who is a member of your household, or it's somebody that is a guest. בגמרא מבואר, in the Gemara it explains, שדווקא מניח שם כלים שאינם ניטלים בשבת. It says it specifically if you left the vessels that cannot be taken on Shabbat. אבל אם הניח כלים הניטלים בשבת, but if you left vessels that you're allowed to move on Shabbat, הרי הוא זה אוסר עליו. Then it does prohibit on him. So what's the difference? שהואיל ויכול הדייר להוציאם בשבת, because since the tenant can take them out into the courtyard on Shabbat, he can prevent you from coming into the house. But if the tenant is not able to take them out Shabbat, it means that the owner has a right to go into your house. But if it's only vessels that you can make on Shabbat, then it shows that the tenant potentially can kick you out of the place. אין זו תפיסת יד. It's not considered תפיסת יד. יש מפרשים, there are those who explain, שמדובר במשנתנו בחירון שאין שם דיירים אחרים. We're talking about that there's no other tenants over there, אבל אם יש בחצר דיירים אחרים, the question is it only you and a tenant and no other people sharing the courtyard, or it's you and the tenant and other people? So some say our Mishnah only talks with only you and the tenant. There's no other people sharing the courtyard. If there's other people sharing the courtyard, it's going to be different rules. Yeah. אבל אם יש בחצר דיירים אחרים, but if in this courtyard there's other tenants, שאין לבעל החצר תפיסת יד בבתיהם, other tenants, real tenants, that you not allowed to go into their houses, כולם צריכים לערב. Then even if you have the right into this guy's property, they don't have the right into this guy's property, and only you have the right. They don't have the right. So he mix Eruv with them, so then... ואם אותו הדייר שיש לבעל החצר תפיסת יד בביתו לא ירבע מהם, and if that tenant that lives in all those places that we said before, like halfway zones, והעירוב ששר בני החצר לא היה בביתו של בעל החצר, הרי הוא אוסר עליהם. So there's a debate if this Mishnah is talking about just two people or many people. Okay.